Let's get it going on the Lockdown Thunder live show. I'm Rylan Stiles, host of Lockdown Thunder, media member and a beat writer for ThunderOnSI.com. Joined as always by Derek Parker from ThunderOnSI.com and the OKC Dream Team podcast, and Derek Parker on YouTube and DraftDigest.com, where we break down twice a week, Monday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Central, live on YouTube here on your Lockdown podcast feed, on the Lockdown YouTube channel, in the podcast feed afterward. Our show, breaking down the Thunder, the week that was, the week that will be, our takeaways from the week ahead, and so much more. Derek, obviously just one live show this week because Thursday is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. But we do have two games to recap from last week, the Clippers and the T-Wolves. What's your top takeaway?
Yeah, obviously an interesting week. The Thunder suffered 2 losses in 3 games. We'll only touch on one of them. The Thunder very much are still reintegrating everybody. It's my top takeaway. I know that things haven't exactly gone as planned for this Oklahoma City team over the last few weeks. People have been freaking out a little bit. They've lost 2 games. The sky is falling. They've now lost 3 games on the season. There's a lot of things you could point to as to why this is. I think the number one reason is just the simple fact that they're still reintegrating people into this lineup. And that doesn't mean that they're getting people back every game, but it does mean that they're still working their way back. Even Jalen Williams, J-Dub, has been working his way back for some time. He's played several games now, but he's obviously not at 100%. I think Lou Dort, his cold stretch that I'm sure we'll touch on later, seems to be due to the adductor. I think he's still working his way back from a couple of ticky-tack injuries. Other players, just across the board, they haven't been healthy all season. And for a long time, that's been looked at as a positive. Like, oh, just wait till they get all their guys back. Now you're seeing the guys back, and you're saying that, hey, it's not as easy just to reintegrate everyone as it seems. Isaiah Hartenstein, another one, working himself back, scored 1 point versus Minnesota. We know, you and I both know, everybody knows, the Minnesota Timberwolves know Isaiah Hartenstein's not a 1 point per game kind of guy. He's working his way back from injury, so it's going to take some time. It's going to take some chemistry, some continuity, all the fun buzzwords, but eventually they're going to get their rhythm and their groove, and they'll be back to what I think they were earlier in the season. Right now, it doesn't feel that way, but still reintegrating.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that there is still a lot to do with this team's chemistry, a lot to build with this team's chemistry, and it sounds crazy because like they've been together for a whole year, and they, of course, had that 99% roster return rate. But when you look at this roster, they're returning better and new players, new versions of themselves that everybody has to get accustomed to playing off of. So there is going to take time to reintegrate that. There's going to take time for J-Dub to get back to where he was. And that's why my first takeaway is I'm still not concerned about J-Dub in the slightest. I mean, I know he's in 2 of the 3 games, and you've lost 2 of them. Both of those losses, he put up some bad performances. And it was the exact same bad performances, 17 points on 16 shots both times. But to me, that's more indicative of where he's at with his wrist injury and not indicative of anything else more serious. This is someone who has not been able to shoot with his proper hand for 6 months, and then gets thrown into NBA basketball. Not even time to practice, not even time to go through training camp, none of that. So he's really learning on the fly how to operate with his wrist and trying to trust it again, trying to get the right feel again. You can see him still favoring his wrist at times during games. He's going to be all right. And I say that with confidence because he's doing everything else right but shoot the ball. Like, he's playing great defense. He's a really improved passer, and he's really helped this team out as a facilitator. He's getting to the spots he wants to get to more often than not. The shot's just not falling for him. He'll be back to his efficient ways pretty soon. That's my top takeaway.
Fully agree. I mean, when you look at it, like, we know he's still working his way back from the wrist injury. He has said it is not an overnight fix. He's basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, it still hurts. Like, it hurts to shoot the ball, to launch the ball in a catapult motion, things like that. 17.6 points. He's shooting 40% from 3, much lower volume to your points. If he was doing his typical 3-point shooting, the high difficulty of shot volume, things like that, of course that number would go down. But he's also getting 5 boards per game. You touched on it. His playmaking has been even better, 5 assists per game, 1.7 steals. He's still doing all those kind of middle ground things that you want him to do. Still a dang good player, and obviously going to get back to what he was. Like, we know that once the wrist injury feels fine, he's going to become that all-star player again. Has it happened yet? No. Will it? Yes. My second takeaway, a little bit less fun of a takeaway, is that this team could struggle in the playoffs with some of the same things that we saw last season. I think the Spurs game somewhat highlighted this. I think that the Timberwolves game somewhat highlighted this, in that creating shots late, hitting big threes, creating good looks, creating good 3-point looks against these kind of tougher defenses in the Spurs and Timberwolves. They very much both felt like postseason level games. They felt exactly like that last postseason run, where obviously the Thunder were good enough. They went and won the finals, but things were a little shaky versus Denver, versus Indiana. Things kind of got mucked up. The offense wasn't as good. I think both of these games, both of these losses for the Thunder in the last week or so, felt like that. Now, the good news is you're finding this out early. Like, hey, we still have to work on this. I think Shea, his playmaking leap lends itself to finding better offense for the Thunder. I think that will come into play later. Obviously, it's tougher to do against guys like Steph Castle, Anthony Edwards, guys that were defending Shea. He'll be better. Jalen Williams, as we've touched on, will be better. Isaiah Hartenstein will work his way back. I think the Thunder offense has time and has the ability to get better at these things. And again, better now, but it does seem like the Thunder are kind of falling back into their old ways in terms of the shot quality, not hitting the shots, creating at the point of attack. So just things to watch out for as we kind of move through this regular season. Are they getting better at those things? Are they staying the same?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that the thing that I can see them improving upon the most from now until the end of the year is their secondary offense and their half-court offense, just in the sense of the looks that they're generating. However, whether they are creating great looks or not, this is still a very streaky 3-point shooting team, and so they could go through a couple of games in the midst of a series where they shoot really poorly, and now they're behind the 8 ball a little bit. You saw them drop game 1 in the second round in the NBA Finals on their home court, and they were still able to win. They're going to have to battle through that. This is not going to be a team that from now until the end of the year miraculously turns into a really good 3-point shooting team. So the game plan, I think, is still the same for defenses come playoff time. It's going to be, give all the attention to Shea, give the attention to J-Dub, funnel the shots to Lou, funnel the shots to Kaysen, funnel the shots to your complementary players, and see if they knock down threes. If they do, you tip your cap and you get beat. And if they don't, you have yourself a chance at the end to win the game. And I think that will still be what this team has to face come playoff time for sure. My second takeaway is that you need to see Chet Holmgren make another step forward. I think that talent-wise and production-wise, he's taken that year 3 leap that you want him to. The next step in that is kind of a micro step. It's going to be about consistency. And Derek, if you remember, of course, J-Dub last year, he took that massive leap and he was able to become an all NBA player, an all defensive player, an all star. But around this time last year, we were talking about consistency with J-Dub. And so it's going to happen, I think, naturally for him. But you want to monitor that the rest of the way of just seeing if Chet can become a consistent, productive player offensively.
Yeah, consistency just remains the name of the game for Chet. We've seen the highest of highs. There's nights where he looks like an absolute superstar. He's got 4 blocks, 30 points on efficient shooting, doing absolutely everything, playmaking. There's also nights like both the Spurs and the Wolves losses where he's not seeing a lot of statistical fall off, but he's also just not impacting the game at the same level. You know, he's not shooting the ball as much, still shooting it efficiently, but just not impacting the game. The defense wasn't quite as good, especially late in the game. Just inconsistency across the board. So I think you're 100% right. You and I both obviously believe he can get to that, to the point where he's impacting the game at a superstar level almost every single night, and especially in the postseason against really good teams. But it hasn't happened yet. So I think consistency certainly for him is the goal. Last takeaway, this team is still so good. Just absolutely ultra talented, even accounting for the fact that they're still reintegrating players from injury. They didn't necessarily shoot the ball well, all these things. Shea didn't have his fastball, as Mark Daignault would say. They pulled away for a near 20-point win over the Clippers, and they hung around with the Wolves, who are a pretty good team when they have it going, and I thought they had it going defensively. They hit some big, big shots. He touched on the Anthony Edwards shot over Cason Wallace. The Thunder, even still, were right in that basketball game. 112-107, 5 points. 5 points is the difference between the Thunder on an off night and the Wolves, who had it going a little bit. And then 20-point difference here between the Clippers. We're still looking at the best team in the NBA. 2 losses out of the last 3 is not ideal, of course. There's still plenty of things to work on. We probably shouldn't have talked about this record as much as we and everybody else did. Rightfully so. We didn't necessarily want to talk about it. We said that it shouldn't be a storyline. They don't care. Of course they don't care. No one in the organization cares about it. But this is still the best team in basketball. I think that'll prove itself over the course of the next few months. So Thunder, breaking news, still good.
Still good. Still good. And that is in line with my number 3 takeaway. Don't overreact to a couple regular season losses, because think about what you thought of Minnesota at the end of February last year. And then when you saw them in the Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves beat the Thunder more times in February than they did in the Western Conference Finals. And all the great matchup, all the great stats from Minnesota against OKC went away and became irrelevant in the Western Conference Finals. It doesn't truly matter. Obviously, they get up for it, and this can be tied into takeaway number 3. You're seeing, as you play more competitive teams, you're seeing what we talked about all summer. You're the champ. You're going to have that target on your back, a target that only grew with the fact that you started out 24-1. And so you're going to get every team's best shot, and they want to see how they stack up against you, and they're going to beat you at times. And it is what it is. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything long-term. I think that the biggest takeaway of these 6 that we've put together is your number 2 is just like, yeah, this team, it's not perfect. There's never going to be a perfect NBA team. They're going to have the similar struggles that they had last year in the postseason. And with those struggles last year, they still won the championship, because every team in the NBA, sans maybe Denver, would right now sign up to swap 18 for 18 and on their roster. They'd right now swap places with you, Freaky Friday style, this current second, because that's how good the Thunder are.
100%. And again, I mean, it's just the best team in basketball still. Like, there's no version of this Thunder team where they're not the best team right now. Like you touched on, they're the ones being hunted. I think Denver's in that hunt. I think a few other teams are in that hunt. But for now, they're still top dogs despite losing a few games. And the good part is, as we'll get into here in just a moment, we get to see one of the teams that beat them a couple times in the next week. So super fun stuff coming up.
Derek, I'm so excited about this week of basketball. I really do believe that this is the most fun stretch of the season, a Monday through Sunday stretch of the season that we've seen to this date. Like I do. Would you co-sign that statement?
To this point in the season,
To this point in the season.
I co-sign. You have my blessing.
I'm glad. I'm glad because I really cannot wait. I mean, it starts with the Sicko Bowl on Monday against the Grizzlies. It ends with my Sixers, and in between, you get 2 games against San Antone. Is anybody going to San Antone? Not I. I'm not going to go down there, but perhaps one of you will. Coming up, folks, we're going to tell you where we were right, where we were wrong. We're going to preview the week ahead for Oklahoma City. Derek, since we don't have a show on Christmas, favorite Christmas movie? We're going to ask a Christmas question every segment.
It's got to be Christmas Vacation. It's unoriginal because I know your answer too. We've done a few pods at this point, but it's the best. It's funny. It's at the same time deep. It's got a crazy cast of characters. It feels relatable on some level, so it's got to be Vacation, man.
It is absolutely Christmas Vacation. I cannot wait to watch it for this year's cycle. And I mean, Mrs. Griswold is worth the price of admission by herself. So, that helps things out as well. But coming up, let's talk about the week ahead for OKC. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder live show with Derek Parker, Monday and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central for this week only, just Monday, because we're not going to do a show during the Thunder Christmas Day game. That would be relatively silly. You can also find Lockdown Thunder 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, plus after every single game. Plus, in addition to this live stream, our Tuesday and Thursday live streams with Jeremy Lamb and Tyler Jones for the Lockdown Thunder Squad Show, where we have Jeremy Lamb giving his insights on this Thunder team. Derek, let's do where we were right, where we were wrong. Short wrong list this week because there wasn't a lot to be wrong about. They only played 2 games. We're not going to toot our own horn here. But we both picked the Thunder to go 2-0. They did not go 2-0. They went 1-1, and they've dropped 2 of their last 3 games. But, it was a coin toss.
The streak is over. I've been proven wrong. All of those comments about my clairvoyance last week out the window. He's human, folks.
Yeah, he is human. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. A great philosopher once said that. But we were right about quite a bit. We both said that the Clippers game was the most boring. Again, we only had 2 to pick from. We both said the Timberwolves game was the best game. Only had 2 to pick from, but we were right. We both said Shea would only play in 1 fourth quarter. We both had Anthony Edwards, the most interesting player in the matchups. Derek, though, you predicted the storyline of the starting lineup needing to be changed. The starting lineup of the traditional 5 is now 0-2 on the year. And considering the Lou Dort discourse, I'm going to say you were right on that.
Yeah, I think this does somewhat make up for the fact that my record prediction was wrong. I feel like I hit the nail on the head here. And again, this was not me wanting these narratives to be out there. This is just what I felt would potentially be happening, and boy, has it.
Boy, has it. I did say that the narrative around this team was going to be the same the rest of the year, which is going to be about free throws and fouls. And with Chris Finch's theatrics on Friday, feels like that happened again. But a new week ahead for Oklahoma City. The matchups this week, tonight in the Paycom Center, late tip, 8:30 local time tip in the Paycom Center on Peacock against Memphis. And then tomorrow in San Antonio, leading into the Christmas Day game here against San Antonio, and then ending the week in OKC against my Philadelphia 76ers. So 4 games to pick from, Derek. What's the best game on the docket?
It's tough. We go from 2 games to 4 games. That's quite the leap here for the guessers. It has to be the Christmas Day San Antonio game. Like, it's such a big deal to get to play on Christmas in and of itself. It will be the second time they play San Antonio, but still, it's just got that extra magic. It's got a little, it's like Sooner magic, but Christmas magic.
Hopefully it's a lot better than Sooner magic on Thursday. Where's Brent Venables magic nowadays, I wonder. But I agree. Best game is going to be Christmas Day, San Antonio. I don't know why the schedule makers decided that this would be a baseball series and that you would not only get of course, they couldn't plan for both teams to go to Vegas in the semifinal, but now you've played them 3 times in 2 weeks, and the Christmas Day game being the 3rd time you've seen Chet versus Wemby. But this is a national stage. This is a standalone game. This is a big deal. And anytime you can play one of these standalone games on a tentpole day of the NBA schedule, it's going to be a massive game. So that's the best game there is. Derek, your most boring game of the week is really grinding my gears.
I have the Philadelphia 76ers. This is only because I think tonight's game is going to be scrappy. Like, no centers for Oklahoma City except for Brandon Carlson. Got the name right. I could just see tonight going a little off the rails. Both teams have 8 players out. 16 guys are on the injury report for tonight. I think you can throw both Spurs games out of the window. Like, no matter if it's a blowout or not, it's going to be interesting because of all of these different storylines. Spurs just won. Wembanyama in and of itself is like this huge thing. So you throw both Spurs games out. I think tonight's going to be scrappy, going to be fun. So it just leaves Philly. It's really nothing against your Philadelphia 76ers. I just think the Thunder might have the most counters for that team out of anyone. Like, VJ Edgecombe, incredible player. The Thunder are probably going to give him some issues. Paul George, obviously not what he was. Embiid, if he's even playing. Like, I don't know. It's Philadelphia for me. I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't love your pick either, because at least Philadelphia it has VJ, they have Therese Maxey, they have Jared McCain, but all three of them my guys. Can I interest you in Nadim Bona? Shot blocking menace in the paint. Don't ever sleep on my Sixers. And it's an afternoon game. So, what if the Thunder sleepwalk a little bit? This is a late tip. It's awkward start times in both games. My most boring game is tonight. I think that it is a sicko game, and as everyone knows, we're all sickos here. So I'm interested in possibly seeing some Jemai Meshack minutes. Like, oh my gosh, if Jemai Meshack touches that floor tonight, I'm gonna be, it's gonna be over for me. Sitting on that floor watching them go to work. But at the end of the day, I just don't really see a world in which Memphis can be competitive unless Jaren Jackson Jr. can just feast on this team, and I don't love an offense with no guards against the Thunder defense that relies and runs through Jaren Jackson Jr. as the engine. So I think that this could really get away from Memphis in a hurry. But the best storyline in these games, Derek, I think is pretty simple. Chet versus Wemby. How will Chet respond? 2 of the 3 games for Chet in the last 3 have been a stinker. And he got outplayed in a big way by Wemby last time out. There were a little bit of bars and jabs in the media from Wemby to Chet. How is Chet going to respond in these 2 games is going to be a big deal to me.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how I feel about the Chet versus Wemby stuff as much as I just do Wemby. Chet Holmgren's incredible. I talk up Chet Holmgren every single time I get on this podcast. Wemby is in a tier of his own, and he's probably going to be in a tier of his own moving forward. It's not a slight to Chet. Wemby is just like that generational. So I'm more so just looking at how the Thunder as a whole are going to stop Wembanyama. Yes, it's cool that they played each other in FIBA and they're both kind of the same archetype and they were close in the draft and they have this similar style. But if we keep pairing Chet with Wemby, it's probably just going to go bad. Like it feels like setting Chet up. So I'm more so just looking at, can the Thunder stop Wembanyama in general? I think despite our earlier points about them kind of mixing things up, they could just stick with the same system and go with J-Dub, Jalen Williams again to guard him. They could throw a lot of different looks at him. So just looking at how they stop Wemby, and not so much even stop, really just limit him, because he is already in that tier of player that you're not necessarily going to stop. You're just going to have to limit his damage on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, he's going to be a massive storyline. So I agree with you. However you want to spin the storyline, it is the storyline. What's your nerdy basketball watch so you can kind of make up for picking my Sixers as the most boring game?
I've already picked it. You already know it's the Grizz, man. Tonight's fun. They don't have any guards. The Thunder don't have any front court players. Watch out for Cam Spencer. Watch out for Cedric Coward, Santi Aldama, Jalen Wells. These are some of your guys. So it's surprising to me that you're picking your Sixers this heavily over these Grizzlies.
I mean, listen, if we're talking my guys, on one side, we got my guy, Jalen Wells. We got my guy, Cedric Coward.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, we've got my guy, VJ Edgecombe, my guy, Therese Maxey, and my guy, Jared McCain. 3-2. Really? Did you know that Cam Spencer played lacrosse, though? That's the big question that everyone's asking. Again, the nerdy stuff, I'm actually going to my Grizzly. So it's 3-3, actually. My nerdy basketball watch is my guy, Jemai Meshack. If he can get on the floor tonight, that'd be a ton of fun. And I think he's ready to go. He did have a successful game against the Blue in the Paycom Center. He's very comfortable playing in the Paycom Center now. He had the game-winning assist. I mean, he's just an awesome player. He's an awesome defender, especially if we see Jemai Meshack matched up on Shea tonight, that'll make this game skyrocket up my listing. Matter of fact, editor's note, if Jemai Meshack is in isolation on Shea at least one time tonight, the Sixers are my most boring game of the week. My Sixers are. I'll say that.
I'll take it. Hey, that's a win for me.
The most interesting opposing player.
Easy.
3, 2, 1. Wemby.
Wembanyama. Yep. Easy.
I mean, come on. It's Wemby. Like, he's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he's must-see TV. No matter what's happening, again, those Spurs games, like, they couldn't have been the most boring game, whether it's a 40-point Spurs win or a 40-point Thunder win. It's must-see TV. You got to watch. You got to tune in.
And let's go to the record prediction and how many fourth quarters does Shea play in?
Record prediction, Rylan. We're mixing it up this week.
Oh, we are mixing it up.
I got 4-0. I think that now I know this is a bold call. There's already been a comment. I would once again like Derek Parker to answer me. What makes him think the Thunder are going to beat the Spurs 2 games in a row? I think they're probably going to have a bad taste in their mouth from the last few days. 2 out of 3 is not great. This is somewhat health permitting, which I think it is. Yes, the injury report today versus the Grizzlies is lengthy. I think they still get the win. Shea's an MVP. He's going to drive winning impact, especially when the Grizzlies don't have a player of this caliber at all. In terms of the Spurs games, I would imagine they get some of these guys back. That might be some of the reason for the lengthier injury report tonight is they have a really tough couple games coming up against the Spurs. I think they go get both. I think there were a few reasons they weren't necessarily in that first game. I would pick the Thunder this go round. It is going to be tough to beat them twice, but you could say the same thing for the Spurs. Like, going to be really, really tough to beat this Thunder team once, and especially twice if you're them. And then Philadelphia, again, I just think the Thunder have some answers for what the Sixers are right now. Despite them playing really, really good basketball, I do think the Sixers are fun. I think they've jumped up to 4th in the East, right? Way up there. So congrats to your Sixers.
My Sixers are surging, buddy.
They're surging, but alas, I have the Thunder going 4-0. It was easy to pick them going undefeated for the longest time. I'm not deterred by the 2 losses out of the last 3 games, so give me 4-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 for the Thunder this week. I think that they lose one of the Spurs games. I think that it could be as simple as like they lose Tuesday, and then it's like that's the Christmas gimmick. That's the Christmas buildup. Is like these Spurs, they've handed the Thunder half of their losses, and now on Christmas Day, the Thunder really get their revenge in a big blowout win. How many fourth quarters does SGA play in this week, Derek?
We both have 3. I think everything but the Philly game, honestly. I think that could be a blowout. I think obviously both Spurs games are going to be at least close in some capacity. And then I think tonight they'll probably need him to go get that win. Again, 8 players out. Like,
you are all in on these Grizz, man.
Dude, the Grizz are scrappy. Hey, they've won, I believe, 4 out of 6, and that's with the next man up mentality. Like, they've got some guys. They really are a scrappy little basketball team.
I'm going to go 3 as well. And for the tiebreaker on who will be right and wrong at the end of the week, I'm going to say that he plays in all the fourth quarters, but tonight.
Okay. All right. I'm holding
storyline to end the week. I'm going to go with AJ Mitchell. I think that by the end of the week, AJ Mitchell, I'm just feeling this. This is off pure vibes. I think he's going to have a big game on Christmas Day. And if you can have a big game on Christmas Day in a standalone atmosphere with the entire NBA world watching, the national media will fall in love with him, and he'll be the talk of the next week is AJ Mitchell. So I think AJ Mitchell with a big Christmas Day game becomes the biggest storyline from this week.
I like that pick, and rightfully so, because AJ Mitchell has already been a huge storyline this year, but he can get even bigger because he has the opportunity to play even more. Just an unbelievable basketball player. Mine is going to be, I think Thunder fans and some fans league-wide are going to fire up the trade machines. Again, I don't think this should happen. I don't think the Thunder are going to make any trades whatsoever. I don't think it's even on their radar, but I think if things do go south, and by south, I mean like 1 loss in 4 tries, maybe another one to the Spurs, I think the trade machines are going to get fired up. Unrightfully so, though.
Well, and the Thunder are playing the reigning Western Conference Player of the Week tonight in Jaren Jackson Jr. He just won the Western Conference Player of the Week. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough sledding here for OKC to see what they can do against your scrappy Memphis Grizzlies and what they can do against my Philadelphia 76ers, my surging Sixers, and how they handle the San Antonio Spurs. Derek, anything else you got about this upcoming week for Thunder basketball?
No, I think like you said, it's going to be a really fun one. I think we're going to learn a lot about this squad. I think we're going to learn a lot about some other squads. I'm excited to see how San Antonio responds. Now, they're kind of in the driver's seat of this matchup. Like, they have the win. They have to defend the fact that they beat the Thunder. So it's going to be such a fun week. And then as we've touched on, we picked the most boring game. None of these games are probably going to be boring. Like, the Philadelphia game is going to be fun too, just given the players in it, VJ Edgecombe, things like that. And then tonight, obviously the injury report making things interesting. So excited for the week ahead.
Going to be very fun to see what the week has in store for Oklahoma City. Derek, what's your favorite Christmas time treat?
Oh gosh. I would say probably just hot chocolate. I'm not a food guy, a sweets guy too much. So probably just a nice hot cocoa on a cold day.
Yeah, nice. I'm going to go with.
I bet I know yours.
Oh, go ahead.
Is it the Starbucks
peppermint mocha?
Peppermint mocha. Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Hold it up. Right. I know you got it. I know it's there behind the screen.
Behind the scenes. That's how the sausage is made here at Locked On Thunder. We do have some NBA news to get to, Derek. First and foremost, Zubac is going to miss 10 games for the Clippers, allegedly. And Derek, this is a big deal. This is a massive deal for Oklahoma City because the Clippers are 2-8 in their last 10 games, despite winning their last game against the Lakers. They're still 2-8. They have the 5th best lottery odds at this present moment. But without Zoo, who, whenever he's off the court, they have like a -14 net rating. They will miss him for 10 games. We're talking them playing Houston, a big Portland front court, a big Detroit front court, Sacramento, Utah, Boston, Golden State, New York, Brooklyn, Detroit again. We're talking about some games here where if Zoo was healthy, you'd predict them to beat some of those teams that we just rattled off. But without Zoo, it gets even harder for them to turn this around, and they need to turn this around like right now if they're going to.
Yeah, he's such an obviously huge part of the Clippers team right now. He's their only really, really good front court player. He's a player that has taken a little bit of a quasi-star leap in the last few years. So he's a huge, huge part of the team. Huge weapon for James Harden. He's 7 foot. He anchors the paint. So with him going out, the paint anchorer is 37-year-old Brook Lopez, who, I mean, seems to be in the twilight of his career, I would say. And then you touched on the tough games. Rockets, Pistons, the Trailblazers are a team that beat Oklahoma City. They're scrappy. Celtics, Warriors, Knicks. There's also these teams that it seems like you could have penciled them in for potential wins. The Kings, the Jazz, the Nets. And without Zubac, that's going to make those games interesting too. So huge loss for the Clippers. It's good that he's coming back after 10 games because they've lost some guys for the season now. But yeah, big loss for a stretch of games that they really, really needed him.
They're 7-21 right now, Derek. They're one loss ahead of the New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers. And they're one loss ahead of the Washington Wizards in the loss column. It's not good in LA.
And these other teams are surging too. I mean, aren't the Pelicans have won?
Pelicans won 4 in a row.
4 in a row from the New Orleans Pelicans there. That's pretty incredible. Sacramento Kings got a win the other night.
Indiana's 4-6 in their last 10 games.
Brooklyn's 5-5 in their last 10 games. Shout out my Brooklyn Nets.
Or Brooklyn Nets. They've almost caught your Charlotte Hornets, who are also 5-5.
What do I get for that? Anything?
Nothing. You just get the victory lap that the Nets have a better record than Washington, I guess, if you want to. Since we're not going to be here Thursday to do our one simulation, let's do it right now. So again, this is just one Tankathon sim. Hand off the keyboard. Okay. Indiana gets pick number 1. Charlotte gets pick number 2. Sacramento gets pick number 3. Washington yet again gets punished by the lottery odds, and they're at 4. And then it's Atlanta at 5 via New Orleans, OKC at 6 via LA, and then Brooklyn and Utah. So the Thunder only have one lottery pick, Derek. Let's just go through the top 6. Indiana takes
Darren Peterson, easy. Him and
Oh,
Hallie are an incredible backcourt duo.
Oh, him and Hallie would put them right back in the mix for the finals, and it would be a favorite to make the East Finals, if nothing else, in this wide open Eastern Conference. Man, that'd be such a great job by Indiana if they can pull that off. Your Charlotte Hornets leap up 5 spots.
Wow, this is such a tough pick. They drafted Highfield last year in Concanipple. I kind of like just doing it again with Cameron Boozer. I feel like they might lean into that. Like, we saw them not necessarily go for Field 2 seasons ago. Won't throw that player out, although he's had a nice little stretch here to Jean Salon. I'm going to throw him out. Anyway, they went with Highfield with a lot of players last year. We'll go Cameron Boozer again. That's a great front court fit next to all those guys they're building with.
Which means that Sacramento gets AJ, and then we have Washington at 4.
Got to go Caleb Wilson. I don't know that he's like the absolute perfect fit, but you still got to draft him because he's just the 4th best player in this class. He will, of course, be good for the Wizards. I think that's a great pick. It's interesting, though, the fit with Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr's been great this year. He's shooting the ball better, things like that, but kind of a murky fit. So got to take him anyway, though.
And then Atlanta via New Orleans at 5.
Atlanta via New Orleans at 5. Man, this is tough. I think you have to go Quaintance. I think they got to anchor that front court for the future. I wanted to draft Quaintance to the Thunder, but this is how it goes. You know, I got to put myself in the shoes of others. I can't just work by magic here. So we'll take Quaintance off the board. By the way, his debut the other day for Kentucky,
so sick.
Incredible defensive player.
All right. At 6, the Thunder back on the board. They can't take Wilson. They can't take Quaintance. And they also, of course, can't take any members of the top 3. But the rest of the board is there for them. Where do you go?
This is so tough because the next 5 best players are all guards. And I know the Thunder fans here in the comments, they don't want me to draft the guard. But I think I'm going to have to go with Kingston Flemings.
Yep.
He's just the best player on the board here. You know,
I'm only between Kingston Flemings and Michael Brown Jr. That's it.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think Flemings has been better in the non-conference play. You know, he's kind of the antithesis right now in terms of the efficiency has been absolutely crazy. He's looked really, really poised for a Houston team that's been one of the best teams in the nation. But Michael Brown is kind of a process over results guy right now. Tons of threes. He can pass the ball. He's bigger. The shot selection isn't there, but like you can see the vision of Michael Brown in the future. As long as he keeps playing the right way, needs to pare down the shot selection a little bit, but I don't think you can necessarily go wrong. I do think Flemings being a little bit more defensive minded, 2.5 steals per 40 right now. It's pretty good. So Flemings, you take him off the board and then you probably reshuffle the Thunder roster for the future and kind of backfill Flemings in here in this guard rotation.
Well, that's our mock draft of the week, our live mock draft up into the Thunder's pick. They landed at 6, so it was not as long, and Utah kept their pick, so it didn't make it for a double lottery selection, but would still be a fun outcome to see OKC have that high of a pick. Next one up on the docket, Derek. Do the Rockets have clutch time concerns? They're 1-4 in overtime games. Of their 9 losses, 8 of them have come in clutch time. Are you concerned about the Rockets?
Yes, I am. Fred VanVleet is a huge loss. He was always a huge loss. I didn't foresee it even being this big. It is. They don't have a good ball handler. Amen Thompson has not taken a handling leap. Reed Shepherd's been really, really good this year. Just not quite the handler that you need at this point in time. He's not breaking down the first line of defense against really good POA attackers. Kevin Durant can't take care of the ball right now. If you deny him the ball, it's hard to get him shots. Alperen Şengün's a little bit of a turnover machine as well. You know, he can initiate offense. He's a really, really good player. But when the game slows down, when things get on a one-possession basis, it's tough for him to make plays too. So they're a little bit in trouble. I don't know what you necessarily do because Fred VanVleet has a no-trade clause, and you want him back next year anyway. He's trying to make his way back this season. I would be shocked if it happened at his age and him coming back. I mean, if they're the 5 seed, there's really no reason to rush him out because you're going to run into a really good team in round 1. So, yeah, I mean, I would say there are concerns, legitimate concerns. I still like the Rockets. I think they have a great defense. I think they have some really interesting pieces, but It's absolutely a trend. It's absolutely concerning. I've watched a lot of their games, and this is kind of who they are. Like they don't do great in these big games. They've lost to the Spurs, the Nuggets multiple times, the Thunder, the Pistons earlier in the season. So this is kind of just where they're at right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. My thought process was going to be that it's not a concern because this is who I always thought that they're going to be. But this is why I've always been concerned about Houston being a legitimate contender, is because I think that their defense can drag games into the mud. I think that their defense can make really good teams like Oklahoma City and Denver work in a series and go 6, go 7 games. But when it comes to actually beating either one of those teams in the playoffs, both of these teams have way better closers than the Rockets do, and they have way more options than the Rockets do. Obviously, you would prefer to have the game in the hands of Shea, Jokic, and KD for those 3 franchises. But if the ball is forced out of their hands, you can go to Jamal Murray if you're Denver. You can go to J-Dub if you're Oklahoma City. Alpy if you're Houston. And it's just like, man, I'm just not an Alpy guy in that way. So I think that this is foreshadowing what they're going to be. They're going to be a really good team, man, by the end of the season. But they're not going to be able to hit those heights of beating the top tier in the West because of this clutch time scenario.
We've got some comments wanting me to throw out a technical foul. I'm not going to. I think this is respectable, He can talk his talk. The Spurs have won, I'm not going to throw out a tech. I do think crushed, destroyed, dismantled is a little bit dramatic. But again, the Spurs are 1-0 against the Thunder so far. We'll let him have his piece for now.
Yeah, well, winners anyone can talk when they up, whatever Lucas said, that paraphrase Michael Jordan. The last NBA takeaway I had this week, Derek, was something I need you to call me on if I'm wrong about, but I think I'm right about this, which is why I'm saying it. I fully believe that this is the best team that Jokic has ever had around him. He's going to get an all-star teammate this year for the first time. Like Jamal Murray's a lock for the all-star game. They're 20-7 while missing Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon for multiple weeks, 2 of their pillars of this core, because they've gotten the depth to help carry them through a regular season. And now when you look at them in a playoff setting, they're still going to shrink their rotation like they did last year, only now they're just better players. Like Cam Johnson, better. Christian Brown, better. Aaron Gordon, better. Jamal Murray playing way better. Jokic is Jokic. Like, this is the best team that he's ever had around him, and he's won a championship.
I think I'm close to feeling this way. I don't think I feel near as strongly as you. Like, Jamal Murray's the same player. Yes, he might go get an all-star this year, but he's always been an all-star caliber guy. I actually don't agree that Cam Johnson's better. I think Michael Porter Jr. was just a better fit there, at least for now, until they get
the end of the year, whenever he gets that chemistry with Jokic.
Yeah, but he had Michael Porter Jr. had chemistry for 4 years, like there was a lot of nuance there between those guys. And I know MPJ wasn't good in the playoffs, but Cam Johnson's just not really like scratching that itch for me right now either. So I'm close. I think there's been other internal development, as you touched on, like Peyton Watson has been huge. He's gotten better player. Valanciunas was a good pickup for them. I'm close. I just don't feel as strongly as you do. But I absolutely feel the same way that I did it last year in terms of the postseason, in that they could beat the Thunder. They're not out of the realm of possibility of contending and beating this OKC Thunder team. So I'm right there with you. I'm just not. I'm a few feet behind. I'm holding your hand from far away.
I'm close. Story of my life, Derek. Whenever you look at this Thunder team and their ability to go back to back and win a championship, yes, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games, but each passing week continues to affirm to me what we already felt. And it's that Denver is the premier competition. And if they get through Denver, they can get through anything.
I agree. I think Denver's it. I think Nikola Jokic is a game-breaking player. I think there's other teams that will be there in the future. I think the vision for the Houston Rockets to get better in the coming years is there. The San Antonio Spurs don't have to do anything to get better. You just let these guys ride. I mean, Dylan Harper, he's going to get better. Stephon Castle, not a finished product. Victor Wembanyama, not a finished product. And then some East teams I think are interesting. Right now, the East is just, they're not as good as the West, obviously. But for now, it's the Nuggets, and that's where I'd leave it.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, Derek, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Okay, it's Malakaliki Maka.
Oh my gosh, you're
In
so performative. You're
instead,
so
hey, it's in Christmas Vacation.
yeah,
Firstly,
it is.
it's a great song. I will say, Blue Holiday, highly
Blue
underrated.
Holiday.
I know no one knows it. Look it up. I can't. I think it's by the Shirelles. Lil Doo-Wop. It's an incredible song.
Okay. Again, you're just staying so on brand with your hipster narrative and like,
That's
oh, oh, I love Malika Miki Maka. Just shut up.
it's from our
It's
favorite movie.
okay. Yes, that is true, and it's the second best looking woman in that movie. But still, I mean, Clark, can you get a hold of yourself, please? You're fantasizing over this woman who's like uh, a a tenth of what your actual wife is in the film. Anyway, that's a plot hole for me in that movie. But mine is Blue Christmas by Elvis, of course. But Elvis's whole Christmas album has 0 skips, by the way. If you go
You
listen to
say
Elvis's
I'm
Christmas
on
album,
brand. This is ridiculous.
if
This
you
is
go listen to
ridiculous.
Elvis's whole Christmas album, no skips. I'd also say non-Elvis category. Uh, it's a tie between Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys and Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney.
What's
And
the
I also
Justin
what
the
did
Justin
Justin say?
Bieber Christmas song? Mistletoe.
Okay,
Mistletoe by JB. Hey, banger.
that's just
Banger.
ludicrous. That's ludicrous.
You gotta listen to it. Have you heard
Oh
it?
gosh, no, no.
Dude, you're missing out.
Uh,
JB is it.
yeah, sure. I often have wondered though if Paul McCartney and John Lennon ever had a little rivalry about their Christmas songs, because John Lennon's Christmas song is so uh, performative, and it's so trying to be artistic, trying to be compassionate to the world. And then here's Paul McCartney, which is like, oh, it's a jolly Merry Christmas, mate. It's just like that's his whole song. And meanwhile, John Lennon is talking about death and how the world's terrible. I wonder if they ever conflicted in styles in that way. Well, Derek, we made it to another show, which means we have to go through our technical fouls of the week. Who's your technical foul, or what is your technical foul going to?
My technical foul goes to whatever absolutely insane person spent $16.76 million on pennies.
That's a technical foul.
The US Mint has stopped making the penny, but the last 3 pennies sold for a combined $16 million. You got scammed, dude. It's just a penny. You probably can't even differentiate it from the others. I'm not going to do my research and actually see if it does look different, but I'm assuming it doesn't. So if you spent 16 million on pennies, you're teed up. You're out of here. That's double tech.
That's a technical foul.
That is crazy. And that's whenever you know that you have too much money. It's whenever you can spend millions of dollars on a penny. I'm sad to see the penny go, though. I really am. We are losing.
That might be tech worthy.
We're losing a slice of Americana whenever we miss the penny. And I also, I do just struggle to know. I know that nobody pays in cash anymore, including myself. I'm part of the problem. But if something costs a certain amount and you're owed $5.31, but there's no penny, how do I get my extra cent? Do you round up and give me more money than I'm owed? I don't want you to round down and give me less money than I'm owed. This creates a whole nother problem among the many problems that America faces and our economy faces whenever we no longer can have the penny. And I'm just, it's sad to see the penny go the way of the glass bottle milk, go the way of the dodo bird. We're losing a lot. We're losing a lot in this country, including the penny. RIP to the penny. My technical foul goes to Oklahoma weather.
That's a technical foul.
Derek, I usually check the forecast about once a week. I don't stalk it like a hawk, I just kind of lay out the week on a Sunday and then see where we go from there. And we've had some very chilly days leading into Christmas week. But then Christmas week arrives and the highs for this week, 71, 74, 75, 77 on Christmas Day, 78 the day after Christmas, 74 on Saturday. And this isn't Christmas. So this is Christmas? What have we done? What have we done? Maybe Thunborg had a point. I mean, this is not Christmas weather here.
Thunborg?
What's
Thunborg?
what's that woman's name? Thunberg?
Thunberg.
Whatever. Who
Thunborg.
cares?
That's a technical foul.
Technical foul on weather. I mean, David
Technical
Payne
foul
explained that
on
one. to me.
Thunborg.
Well, I put many T's on Thunberg.
I will agree with you, although I will say for my midday runs, it's impeccable weather. The 20s is too much. The 90s is also too much. So a nice 50, 60, even 70, 70's pushing it. That's a little warm. In December, though, incredible.
Yeah, that is true.
And to AD here, to your point, I am not having hot chocolate in 70-degree weather. Not happening. Got to be, I would say, below freezing. You can't have hot chocolate above freezing, I don't think.
My line of demarcation is not that low, but the number can't start with a 7. I'll tell you that for free. I mean, it's got to be, I'd say anything in the 50s and below is hot chocolate weather, especially depending on your heating situation in your house. Like some people crank up the heat, some people don't even turn the heater on, like myself. And if you get it cold enough, dude, I'm not. Heat is a scam, dude. They're bending you over the barrel and showing you the 50 states. So if you turn that heater on your utility bill,
scam.
You put on a hoodie, you put on some blankets, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be perfectly fine. It'll be all right.
We could not coexist. Couldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that we only coexist during our playoff runs because we both like the AC. But I mean, that's just where I'm at. I don't like the weather we're having on Christmas week here. I mean, it's already hard to get into the Christmas spirit as you get older. It's just not the same as it used to be. But whenever it's 70 something degrees outside, it feels fine. Like it feels great. But it's just the aesthetic of this is supposed to be Christmas. And we're going to pull up to the Paycom Center wearing, Hawaiian shirts on Christmas Day.
Malakalikimaka is Hawaii.
Oh, there we go.
As Heat Miser would say, Year Without a Santa Claus, another great Christmas movie. Look it up. It's a green Christmas.
A green Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps if we did go green, we wouldn't be dealing with 70-degree weather. So, it is what it is. But Derek, I'm trying to think of another Christmas question to ask you. What age did you stop believing in Santa Claus?
I don't have a single idea. I was probably late to this train. I was
Really?
probably a little older than I should have been. I was
Really?
probably
I
like the
pegged you as
last
the
kid.
opposite way.
I was probably the last kid at school that's like, you guys don't get it. He's real, dude. Trust me.
Wow. I pegged you as the complete opposite. I
What
pegged
about
you
you?
as the guy who figured it out in second grade and then just ruined it for your whole class of kids.
No. What about you?
Oh, I'd say, well, there's no one here to fact check me anymore, but I would say third grade, probably. My sister's 5 years older than me. Perhaps that influenced things. So I don't really know what the proper age would be to stop believing in Santa Claus. Because it's hard for children to coexist and still believe in Santa Claus whenever one's clearly old enough to know better.
Yeah.
So I perhaps third grade. That's like my oldest memory of feeling like Santa Claus is coming to town. Speaking of Santa Claus, and I saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus as a crazy proposition on that song.
Just the premise of it?
Yeah. On one hand, it is crazy if you're a child and you see your mother kissing Santa Claus. But then the older you get, the more you realize that your parents are Santa Claus. So the likelihood that Michael Jackson saw his mother kissing his father is higher than what you initially would think of when you hear that song. So perhaps it's not that crazy. But
Okay.
yeah.
Question from David. Favorite Christmas food? I'm not sure I know what this entails. What does this mean?
I think it's just like what do you eat on Christmas? Do you do the Thanksgiving spread? Do you do something different?
I don't know that I have a go-to. I feel like my family typically mixes it up. We don't have a turkey every year or anything like that. So I know that I have an
With
answer for
ham.
this one. Yeah,
A
I mean, we've
Chinese
had our
food
fair
is
share
good.
of ham.
Yeah. Favorite Christmas cookies. I mean, just the sugar cookies with the sprinkles on top. Those are
Hey,
great.
my Mimi makes the most
Mm. Now,
incredible
what does
Santa
Mimi mean?
Claus. Mimi would be grandmother on my mom's
Okay.
side. She has Santa Claus cookies. They're shaped like Santa Claus. She puts some oil on them. Typically, for the entire family, it'll be raisins for eyes, coconut for the beard and for the hat, and then sprinkles for the hat. For me, who doesn't like coconut and raisins, she would put chocolate chips and icing, especially for me. And now there's a few grandchildren and I think maybe great grandchildren that also like chocolate chips and icing more. So it's like me and the 3-year-olds, but that's absolutely my favorite Christmas cookie.
Wow. We learn more about you every day. And we'll be spending Christmas together inside the Paycom Center. Do some caroling. We could do a Christmas spectacular Thursday.
We'll be in section 331 if anyone wants to hear a Christmas carol from Rylan and Derek.
Yeah, that'll be sick. We could get that set up. We can get that set up. A live Christmas Carol performance before the game starts. Coach Dennis says start bench cut these Christmas characters based on basketball skill: the Grinch, Santa, and Frosty the Snowman. The Grinch is a defensive menace. I mean, he's stealing everything on the court. This guy's sparking transition. He can really slam it home. This guy is someone that you can't dribble around. You don't want to be passing the ball to his side of the floor. He's a lockdown defender. I'm starting him.
Santa, interior force, obviously. The stomach, he's immovable. They do say Frosty's cold, though. They say that
Dude,
man is cold.
He's cold, brother.
Icy with the ball in his hand.
Oh, ice in his veins, dude. Like this dude, if there's a last second shot, you want Ice Man, the icy Frosty the Snowman, taking that dang shot, dude.
I agree. So I guess to answer the question,
the aliens got the death beam pointed at Earth. Give me Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty the Snowman. Although he might melt before you get to the fourth quarter, especially in 70 degrees. I think I'm cutting Santa. He's a more traditional style player. This is the modern NBA.
Yeah, Santa's the throwback style of player.
Yeah. Not that he isn't good. He was real good in the 80s. Real good in the 80s.
Dude.
But
he was playing against plumbers, dude. He was playing against, playing against the Easter Bunny. I mean, we're talking big stuff here nowadays,
So I think I'm benching the Grinch. You need that defensive product off the bench. And then I'm starting Frosty because he's
you got to start
too
the
icy.
Iceman. You got to start
the Iceman.
Can I also get another Christmas take off my chest?
Oh gosh, I can feel you getting more comfortable. I know this one's gonna be bad. This is gonna be a terrible take.
Not bad. It's just a fact. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a fog merchant. If there was never fog that night, this dude never makes the sleigh cut, much less becomes the leading reindeer. And it's ridiculous that every year he skips the line. How come Prancer or Donner doesn't get a chance to lead the sleigh whenever there's no fog out there? He's living off of one foggy Christmas Eve. This dude's a system reindeer. He's a fog merchant. This dude is never going to have it.
System reindeer. Oh, we got our first never going to have it of the live stream. Oh,
he's never going to have what it takes to have like a non-foggy Christmas outing.
I can get behind this. This actually isn't so bad a take.
Dude, Frosty, when there's no fog, he goes from an all-star level player to out of the league.
Reindeer gets a lot of shine, man, for that one night. There's an NBA comp somewhere of a guy who had one good game. I don't. Better people than me know it. I don't know it though.
Man, Frosty. I mean, of all the Christmas characters, by the way, Buddy the Elf might be the most overrated.
Wow.
I mean, he might be.
Some are saying that's Farrell at his best, though.
Well, yeah, but Farrell's best is like someone else's D tier. I mean,
wow,
not a Talladega Nights. He plays the same character every movie. Just some bumbling idiot who dresses up in a different costume. Oh, he's an elf. Oh, he's a NASCAR driver that thanks baby Jesus before he slams Mountain Dew. Like, it's just the same thing.
He has a serious movie. I forget what it's called, though.
Yeah, exactly. Forgettable whenever he tries to play a serious role.
Dang it. I'll never find it because I have to scroll past just tons and tons of comedies, obviously. Stranger Than Fiction. I don't remember what it's about. I was too young.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly. You're a movie buff and don't remember what it's about. This
I
really
remember
got off the rails here, huh?
Yeah, he counts how many times he brushes his teeth in the movie. It's a crazy one.
Yeah, Rudolph was Linsanity. I agree with the comment.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There it
He's
is.
living off of that. They're still doing podcasts about like this Linsanity run that he did in the early 70s, and all of a sudden we're still talking about him. It's like, dude, give it a rest, man. How about the consistency of a dasher, huh? How about the consistency of a prancer, huh? I mean, how about that? There's a reason why he didn't make the cut. Oh, you've got Dasher and Dancer and Donald and Blitz, and it was Donald.
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 Oh man.
Cupid. Nixon. Because Tricky Dick is breaking.
You're just throwing presidents in there. Donald and Nixon. Yeah. You're mixing up your history there, buddy.
My least favorite, actually. But this has gotten off the rails. We might need to in this one, but perhaps the reindeer guiding from Rudolph was promised to him a long time ago. When that foggy night happened, they said, you know what, this one foggy night, you get us through this one foggy night forever. Can you now lead the sleigh tonight? Top 5 Christmas Day players of all time. There is actually a Christmas Day media guide that I was looking at the other day on the Media Central website, and I was looking just like what do players need to do on Thursday to set some Christmas Day records, and there's been some stellar performances on Christmas Day, and I think that this is going to be a lot of fun. Like, you look at the Christmas Day statistical leaders, points per game. Tracy McGrady in 3 games has averaged 43 points. That's incredible. I think that Tracy McGrady is excellent. LeBron James has the most total points on Christmas Day. He's also played 19 times, folks. So it's a little bit of stat padding there, but hey, he's performed on Christmas Day every time. The free throws made in a game, 22 from Bernard King. New York against New Jersey in 84. So let's see if anyone can break that on Thursday. We'll see, though. We'll be tracking all that here on Lockdown Thunder. Derek, you dropped the video on Derek Parker on YouTube today, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I gave it a like on like 5 different accounts, and tell us what that was about.
Yeah, I just got some NBA draft thoughts out there. It was a very fluid video, didn't have a lot of structure, just kind of talked about stuff as it came up, threw some clips behind it so you can go see the players that I'm talking about. It's solid. I think it's a decent little non-conference update on the state of the 26th draft right now. Speaking strictly on college basketball, there's no NBA teams involved, so go check it out. Like he said, Derek Parker. Derek
Parker on YouTube. One of your best thumbnails also. I can tell that you made that thumbnail at like 4 a.m. probably, but
oh yeah,
one of your best thumbnails of all time.
It was a quick one. It took me about 3 minutes.
But it looked good, though. It caught my attention, so make sure that you go check that out. Derek, this was a lot of fun, especially the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But until next week for another live show, but until tomorrow to recap this Memphis game, be good and be good to one another.